Hey, and welcome back to Everything Tumbler Tutorials. My name is Rebecca Escott, and today I am so excited to show you glow glitters. Everyone has been waiting for these. Here it is. These are absolutely beautiful. Go to AB Designs Co. The link will be in the description for you guys. Check this out. There's going to be a bundle deal for this tumbler right here. You're going to get the vinyl, the glitter, and the decal. Make sure you use my coupon code ESCOT15. I'll make sure I put it right here for you guys. Don't forget to find us on Facebook at Everything Tumbler Tutorials as well, and join us. I hope you guys like this tutorial, and if you do, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more tutorials coming soon. As you will notice, I have already painted and taped off my tumbler, which is a 20 straight, which is what I recommend when doing any types of vinyl work. It just makes it so much easier to work with. What I will say is you're going to see that I struggle because I decided to use the 12 by 12 sheet instead of cutting it down to size. So you'll notice that I struggle just a bit, but I ran it anyways. You'll notice that I'm going to go ahead and fold that backing back. Get that out of the way a little bit, and I'm going to start and line my printable vinyl right up against the tape. And I'm doing this so that I only have to trim one side and not both. Once I have this carefully lined up against that tape, I'm then ready to pull the backing with one hand and maneuver, if you will, with the other hand and get the vinyl on in placement. I will say I've worked with tons of vinyls and doing tons of wraps, and I'm not being biased, but this vinyl actually wrapped really, really well. On the exception that I'm using a 12 by 12 sheet. I should have cut that, like I said, but that was user error. But this was such an easy vinyl to work with. I was very pleased. You will notice once I get to a certain point and I have found the painter's tape on the back side, I end up cutting off the remaining bits of the vinyl and just getting it out of my way. Here I was just scoring my line up against that tape so that when I cut the extra bits off, I can use my X-Acto knife as you see here and just run down that painter's line, the painter's tape line, and that just made it very easy for me to get a nice sharp edge. Once you have that cut, then you can go ahead and pull that and get that out of your way. Here I'm going to go ahead and trim off the bottom. And I'm not worried that I kind of scuffed up my paint a little bit because you'll see in the upcoming clips that I do paint the bottom and that portion of white. Here I'm just going to go ahead and remove the tape. Now I want to make sure that I have all of the bottom and the top nice and secured to my tumbler. And yes, I did have a couple of wrinkles right here around the rim, but honestly, it was not a big deal. Here I'm just using scissors to go ahead and cut off the rim as well. It just makes it so much easier. Once you have everything nice and tight and everything is good with the placement of vinyl, now I'm going to go ahead and tape off that whole section, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to spray paint using the Ocean Mist to glitter my tumbler, which I'm going to be using Opal Key, which is a glow glitter from AB Designs. Now that my cup is completely painted, I'm ready to go in with my first coat of glitter. And I do say that I actually show you guys this time that I did take it back outside. I spray sealed it clear, and I came right back in for a second coat of glitter. I talk about it. I didn't actually show me spray painting it clear. However, I've never really shown you guys me spray painting it clear and coming right back in for another coat of glitter. This time I did because I really wanted you to see that I got a very flawless glitter finish. Once I had this glitter coat on the cup, which was, it only took 2, I was very satisfied with the coverage, so I immediately removed the tape. Now, the painter's tape did not affect my vinyl at all, but I do want to say you do still want to be very careful when removing it, though it's not peeling the printable vinyl per se, but you wouldn't want to peel the tape and then peel the vinyl with the tape, if that makes any sense. So just with any removal of the painter's tape, just take your time and be careful. Can I also mention too that when I'm peeling the sides here, there was something extremely satisfying about peeling this tape and watching that sharp edge just come to life. Once I had all of my tape removed from the tumbler, I allowed this to sit and completely dry before taking it back outside and sealing that glitter one more time. Now that our tumbler has been sealed, we are now ready to go ahead with the first coat of epoxy, which of course I'm using Quick Set from Glitter Craze. Keep in mind that if you seal your glitter really, really well, you do not have to be concerned about your glitter floating all over the tumbler. Once this first coat of epoxy is completely dry, we're going to come back in and get to the next step. So here we are now, we are dry and we are ready to place our vinyl decals. As you will see, the center of the tumbler is painted white. I obviously did that after the epoxy coat was completely dry and ready to be manhandled, if you will. But I'll get to that in a second. So these vinyl strips, I don't remember the size that I used for this vinyl strips, but if you can see, they are super tiny. So I just lift it right off the backing and eyeball it in line, as I already have a line guided for me. Once I've secured placement of this vinyl strip, I do use my X-Acto knife to cut the top and the bottom excess remaining off. I will use my printable vinyl at the bottom as a guide for where I cut the strips. As you will notice, I do this on both sides, exactly the same technique. So that's where my decal is going to go. Love, love, love. So I wanted to make sure you guys could actually see that decal because it matched so perfectly. It was so appropriate. So I actually, before, obviously I did the vinyl strips, I took it out back and spritzed it right there in the center, and it worked out so perfectly. I'm just going to tighten this up a little bit. Now we're ready for our decals. So these work just like water slides, as I've said before. So typically you would want to epoxy this tumbler again before applying this clear cast decal. If you have to sand the tumbler, you definitely want to come in with another coat of epoxy, because otherwise you're going to see those sand marks right through that clear cast. As with any decals, you want to place it down and work your way from the center out, making sure everything's nice and pressed down. These adhere very, very well to the tumblers, so I didn't need to seal anything. There was nothing more for me to do. Once I was certain this was on the cup and I didn't have any air pockets, I was ready to go ahead and epoxy. Love it. I absolutely love this so much. Okay, so now we are ready to go ahead with the final coat of epoxy, and I'm going to use about 20 mLs for this coat, and I'm also going to use the brand new AB Designs Glorious epoxy additive on this cup, and that's all I was going to use, just that teeny tiny pinch. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in on this tutorial. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more tutorials coming soon. Be sure to remember, with any coat of epoxy, make sure you hit it with a heat gun to pop any bubbles that you may or may not be able to see.